Hey, what's up? David here with After Effects, and welcome back to the channel. And I know what you're probably thinking. What am I doing in Adobe Bridge? So in case you don't know already, I recently hit the 1000 subscriber target. And I want to thank every single one of you who's been subscribed to the channel and has just been part of this journey with me, just growing the channel. And to celebrate this achievement, I'm doing a giveaway. And the giveaway is 2 sound packs. So these are just generic sounds that I have, and these are basically everyday sounds that you would hear. So we got like this, this baby crying. We've got an airplane sound. We've got city traffic. Let's look at this pack. We've got like, a rodeo, telephone pickups. Yeah, it's just very broad sound effects. So yeah, go ahead and download the project file. It's in the description below, and just have fun with it, composite it into your own projects, and just start experimenting with it. So thank you once again for the support. I'm going to continue making tutorials for you guys, and let's go ahead and look at today's tutorial and have a look at what we're going to be creating. So before we go into the compositing stage in After Effects, I just want to briefly explain what I did in Blender and how I set up this tracking scene here with these Gravestone in place. So first things first is I'm obviously just motion tracked my footage here. So you got all these track points and set as background, set up tracking scene. I've got a whole tutorial on how I did this, so I can provide links for you guys in the description below. But I'm not going to go too detailed with this. So once you set up the tracking scene, everything's pretty straightforward. You just composite your gravestones in scene here with the shadow here. And if I go into my render view, it basically looks like this. Without any of the color grading, obviously. I wanted to make sure that these gravestones were well lit and the textures were in place properly, so I don't have any seams or anything like that that are noticeable. I wanted to make this seamless, so if I go into the shader editor, so if you look at this, it's pretty straightforward on how I set this up. I actually didn't do anything. I just let the Node Wrangler do most of the work. And yeah, so same goes for these three, and for this one, I had to UV unwrap it. I just use Smart UV Project to unwrap it basically, and it's just quick and easy and the lazy way of unwrapping this object. And let's look at the environment. So I'll just quickly turn off transparency for this. It's a very, I would say, bright HDR. So we've got this direct sunlight up here, and it's very bright. So yeah, it's very good for making my gravestones well lit. And I've also got this area light as well, just to complement that HDR. But other than that, if we go into the compositing, it's nothing much. It's just the render layers and the 2 composite and viewer tabs. And to create the Z depth, you just need the normalize effect and just place it in here, and then you just put depth in here. Just unplug that and put it in here. Or if you want, you can go into the viewer layer properties and click mist, and then just plug that in, and that'll just create like smoother edges for your render. So, or if you really want to go into details, you can go into like this map range effect, and then that can control the distance for the black and white from the camera. So you can go do that if you want, but I didn't really do that, but I just did that and just rendered it out. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. Just turn on transparent again. Yeah, it's straightforward, guys. I mean, like, I didn't really change any of the settings that much. The hardest part was probably just making sure that these gravestones were perfectly aligned above the axes, because let's say this one was like below, you can see how like it just creates a little bit of parallax. And maybe if I go top view, let's go with this one. If I just go like that or something, yeah, you can see how like it just doesn't work out properly. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it, and make sure your what is it, ground, your shadow is perfectly aligned with the axes as well. And then other than that, just render it out. Render it as a PNG sequence. Be sure to have alpha turned on in your compositing here, so alpha. And then to render the Z depth, you can just render it out as usual. You don't have to go super high with the samples. I just did like 8 because it's only, you're not going to see it. It's black and white, and we're going to be using it as a luma matte as well, so don't worry too much about that. But yeah, that's it for the 3D tracking scene. So let's go ahead and go into the compositing stage in After Effects. Okay, so let's have a look at what I did. So I'm not going to go into a depth tutorial on how to do each step. I'm just going to go over what I did, and I'll provide the project file as well so you guys can have a look at it as well. I do want to say one thing. I will not be providing the atmospheres that is composited here, just because of licensing purposes. I don't want to give out something that is not originally that was mine. So I just want to put it out there. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a look at this. So first things first, I've got my building footage here, and like I said, I'll provide the links for everything, so, and the project file as well, so don't worry about it. And what I did was I added this 3D camera tracker to the scene here because I need these 3D track points for the compositing stage. And then I just added this like levels effect just to dim the lighting a bit because it's a little too blown out. So I just added that levels in. Next thing I did was I added some clouds, and you can see here that my king isn't that great, but that's okay because one, it's far in the distance, and two, the color correcting is gonna hide it. So what I did was, it's the same layer. Go into the mask properties. So what I did was I did some luma keying with the color key effect to just key out the sky and keyed out some of the building, but that's okay because it's gonna be covered. And then I added this black solid and then just animated the mask. So if I go over here and I just animated the mask here just to cover up as much as I can on here. And then once I did that, I set this to the alpha inverted so that the clouds are only revealed on the alpha of the layer. So if I go into no track matte, so this is the clouds by itself, and then if I set the mask to alpha inverted, the clouds will just be in the sky. Okay, and then yeah, my 3D camera, sorry. And then what I did was I composited these like these destructed, like, I guess, elements. I got some rust, got a hole, some more rust, some holes. I got this windows. This was actually from the Video Copilot's destroyed building cities tutorial, so you can go and have a look at that tutorial if you want. The way I place these in 3D space is I got these track solids, so I'll just that was generated by the camera tracking itself. So what I did was I just what you can do is just like pick a plane here. So this one, 3 points, right click, and then create solid, and I'll create a solid in space. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's how I composited these elements. And yeah, it's just a matter of fitting what looks best. I didn't go too detailed with this because, like I said, it is far in distance, and color correcting is gonna hide it pretty much. But yeah, so let's go on to now the okay, so I added this lightning, if I can find it. Okay, so there's this lightning bolt, if I can just get into the right layer. There we go. There's this lightning effects that's happening all over, and I did the same thing with the building. I just used the alpha inverted just to show on the sky layer, or the alpha in this case. And then what I noticed was that because this lightning is pretty bright, I needed to have some like sort of reflection, or just like some sort of subtle light that's just being bounced off of the ground here. So what I did was I actually duplicated that lightning, and then I changed the scale to -100 on the y-axis, and then I just fast box blurred that out. So these effects are the same as the lightning here. It's just that I just added this fast box blur, and then the timing will be exactly the same. So don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about the time, because if you did, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so now that that's composited, I composited my gravestone render that I briefly discussed a few minutes ago, because that was important. I did a bit of color correction on this as well, just to match the ground as well. And then I added a vignette just to draw our attention into this area, and then color corrected it. So now we've got this dark, gloomy vibe happening here. Okay, and then I wanted to add some depth just to show how like deep it is. I guess that's one way to put it. So what I did was I just composited some of these atmospheres. So just give it a minute to render it out. Yeah, so if we look closely, these depths are actually rendered by, luma matted by the Z depth that I rendered at. So if I just shut all this off just for a minute, so you can see here, you can't really see it, but if you look closely, you can see that it's being rendered, it's only being shown behind the gravestones. So let me show you what I did. So we've got this fog happening. I'll just turn up the opacity so you can see. So we've got this fog back here, and then I set the track matte to luma matte. Oh, whoops, wrong one. So now the fog is being rendered behind the gravestone, and then the Z depth is just looks like this. It's just black and white. Okay, and I can control this by using like an exposure effect. So you can control like the depth of this if you want to, but I didn't really play too much with this, but that's just an option you can look further into. But yeah, so you can see how it's being composited like that, and same goes for this one as well. Okay, shut up the eyes for this. Okay, so that's basically it for the fog, and then just turn that down to 50%. And what I did was I added some more fogs, so just add a fog here. Oh, oops. There's one here, one in the back here, and just one in like right at the back. And these are all 3D layers, so you can just like composite them in 3D space. And then I put them on top of the color correction and the vignette. Same goes for my lightning as well, because if I was to put this underneath, let's say I put the lightning underneath the color correction, and if I just find a point where the lightning happens, if I can find it. So you can see what's happening here. Because I color corrected, this color correction is specifically for the layer, all these layers. It's not really for the lightning, and you can see how it's like looking like dim, and the glow is not really having any effect. So that's why I placed it above the color correction. That way it will have some effect to it. Oops. Yeah. There we go. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. It's the good thing about this tutorial is actually it's just pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of compositing and just experimenting what looks best for your scene. Because like when I first did it, I didn't really have these holes in composited in the scene, and I noticed that like it looked a bit blank to me, so I just added some more holes to it. And you can even go even further by adding like, I don't know, like an adjustment layer, and then just placing this like on top here. Maybe you can add like a camera lens blur, and then you can just like draw a mask around this area, and then set it to subtract, and then feather that out, and just let your attention be drawn into this area, and then everything else blurred out in the background. But I didn't really do that, but that's something you could experiment with. But other than that, guys, thank you once again for subscribing to the channel. 1,000 subscribers. I was certainly not expecting 1,000 subscribers, but it happened, so I'm grateful for that. Please go ahead and download the sound packet. It's for free, obviously. It's just my way of saying thank you and just to show my gratitude for your support. So go ahead, download it. Download the project file as well, so you can have an in-depth look of what I actually did. You can go ahead and change it if you want. And I provided the links for where you could download the footage as well. These gravestones, by the way, are from Video Copilot's Halloween pack, so you can go ahead and download from directly from his website. But I provided it in the project file as well, so you don't have to do that. Even the textures as well. So as always, guys, my name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video so people can find it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to hit that bell button to get the notifications. And comment down below if you have any questions. And I will see you in the next video.